Message
Yeah,
कर
we are
देगी.
live now. We are
We are
live
in.
now.
Yes.
We're live. Greetings.
Yes.
Greetings to all from Ahmedabad Book Club, the place for artists, young writers, readers, or to put in their thoughts, place together, get together, not only to discuss the books, all the books that we read, but what we learn from that, what we sustain. We are now going global. We hope to move on to many, many more countries. Place where you can not just read, you can discuss the books that you read, that you write, with even if you don't read, I guess it's okay. You watch movies, you watching all those videos, you're watching us live. These are audio stories, visual stories. So even if you don't like to read, listen to us. With me, I have authors three, all members of Ahmedabad Book Club, the place, the team behind all the wonderful events that we have, the book launches, the poetry sessions, the book reviews, discussions. All three are authors, well published. What do I talk about them? I'll start with Dr. Vijay Lakshmi, our current president of Ahmedabad Book Club, initiative started by Priyanshi Patel and Khurshid Raji, the fine writers themselves. Yes, Priyanshi writes wonderful poetries. Vijay Lakshmi, what can I say? She is, of course, a very literary person, a gold medalist in MPhil, with 5 books, well published, on religion, mythology, poetry, wonderful poetries on love. The current genre is horror. That's interesting, from religion and mythology, spirituality to horror. The women who, I think, like most spiritual people, she loves traveling to places unknown, with forests and temples and maybe old buildings. And when she's not in the forest, she has a little, I think, garden. So she spends her time with them. She's very fond of gardening. Very fond of gardening. Then, of course, Monica, Monica Sudhir Gupta, an author, writer, freelance writer, all of them with a very, very keen interest in, I would say, not, I cannot specify as a mythology or religion, maybe ancient religion. She's doing a lot of research on that subject and has written a wonderful book titled Illuminating Darkness, a quote that I personally believe in. Why burn? Why burn when you can illuminate? Again, of course, like Dr. Vijay Lakshmi, she's fond of traveling. She's happy solo traveling to the mountains and to the wilds. And then, of course, we have Kosha. I call her Kosh. Again, Kosha is a fine writer. She's written some wonderful, very, very sensitive poetries. Stories on the lockdown, 2 books published. She hates cooking. By her own admittance, she does not. So what binds them together? Wonderful writers, freelance writer, they write poetry, stories, multitasking mommies, mothers who take. Yes, Monica is self-admitted. She is a homemaker. She loves.
Yes.
She loves being home. She's a homemaker. She's a creator. They manage a house, the children, in-laws also, I think.
Yeah.
And of course, they find time to write whatever they see around them. The perspective different from what normal people they observe and they write about the people. Maybe see and ठीक है ऐसा हुआ है. But today we will talk of their perspective. and how their journey started. Let's start with Vijay Lakshmi. Of
Yeah.
course, we all started writing when maybe we were kids, but to write long stories, I know I in school I used to hate writing essays. I absolutely hated it.
I hate it as well.
Yeah. So I would like to tell about my literary journey. I started writing poems at the age of 16, and I always thought that writing was something deep within. And the world of imagination and fantasy, it has always captivated me a lot. And I, first of all, like I used to pen down my deepest feelings, thoughts, and imagination in a diary all these years. And I just wrote to find my hidden self. I just wanted to show my other self to the world. So that's how I started writing. And there are no borders and boundaries in expressing whatever you feel. And I still remember like what I first wrote, like lost in the vagaries of life. I woke up to find my dream shattered, never to be repaired in the realm of consciousness. And somewhere or the other, I had deep mystical questions, like questions all around. Like, who am I? What is the purpose of life on earth? And what happens to us after death? And so many more complex and open ended questions. So, these questions, it triggered me to write. And I also wrote about the dreaming, the waking, and the sleeping states. That is the manifestation of Om, the sound, the entire sound of the universe, which the mankind has to attune himself or herself to. So it was on this aspect of shattered dreams and its connection to life that I started writing. And I am grateful to my father who always taught me the value of time, and my husband who always believed in me. And it takes around 2 months for me to complete a book of poetry and 6 to 1 year to complete a book of fiction. And when I started my first book, that is Quest for God and Epiphany, eternity was the central aspect of my life. And poetry is always dear to me. And when I wrote the second book, that is Poems on the Eternal God, it was based on realization and Omkara, and also the various aspects of art, life, individual, and their relationship with God. And the third book, that is a postmodernist critique of the select works of Amitav Ghosh, is the result of 4 years of my research during my PhD. And the fourth one, Black, A Tale of Unfinished Tales, is a collection of 17 short stories based on horror and supernatural elements. And the latest collection of poems, that is Love Beyond Love, is a collection of 197 poems, which deals with the themes such as spirituality, feminism, and whatever happens around us in day-to-day life. Yes. And the most important question, that is, who am I and what is the aspect of time and space?
I'll come to that later, from love to horror. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Monica,
Hi, Nina.
philosophy, and you do a lot of research on, our ancient religion, which people
Yeah.
might call philosophy, like mythology, and some would say nahi, history.
Yeah.
I think it's our ancient religion, which I think it's very, very vast. We don't have any one. Hinduism is not about one, it's very, very
Deep
colorful.
ocean.
Very, very.
Yes, actually, if you see Indian mythology or you call it history, however you want to see it and call it, it's an ocean. Like decades and decades and centuries have relied. Like we have Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana and Mahabharata. If you see and you go to them, every time you discover something new there. Like we must have seen or read Ramayana and Mahabharata n number of times since childhood, and we've heard versions of it. So every time you read it, hear it, or see it, you come up with something new. There are so many characters. And it is, although it was written years back, till date you can relate to it. It gives you a fresh perspective to life, to people, to situations. I mean, till the whatever, I mean, however back they were written, they are still date very relatable, whether it's your workplace, your personal life, or any aspect. It gives you a lot of things to ponder upon, to imbibe, and as well as express upon. that's the reason I picked up mythology long back, but during the COVID period, it is when I really, took up this subject and began studying on it, writing on it. You can read it on my blog, Monica's Breathing Pen. And I also discovered the speaking aspect of my literary journey it began 5 years back when I began writing on my blog, Breathing Pen, which is now Monica's Breathing Pen. And later, after 2 years of that, I came up with this book, Illuminating Darkness. So it's a
I
compilation.
have
It's a
of
compilation of
wonderful, wonderful quotes.
yeah, because during that time when I had begun writing, at the same time learning, it was more of a therapy for me because it was the time when I wanted to resurrect myself while building a home and with two kids. I felt my identity was blurred somewhere. So to restore it back, I picked up the pen, and that's the reason I truly believe writing is a very very powerful practice for healing as well as for empowering. All of us as writers and readers, we know the power of words and books.
Yes. This
Stories
is
teach you not just to others when we write as writers. I mean, Kosha and Vijay, I'm sure they will also agree. While you're writing for others, but at the same time, you are getting a lot from it. It's like a mirror. You reflect while you're writing. It does, like Vijay said, it was her quest to who she is, what is the purpose. At the same time, while we are writing this journey, I guess this is a path towards getting you there. So whether it's a hobby, profession, XYZ, but ultimately I think it boils down to the fact that it's a tool for self discovery, healing, creation. And we females, obviously, we by birth somewhere, we are nurturers and
yes.
creators. We are born like that.
By default, you are creators, creators of new life. So
Exactly.
I think
And we
yes.
create life, we have that soul or that quest and that element within us, which, flows out in ways like either cooking, painting, writing. However, that's a way of discovery and healing of ourselves and others. When a mother cooks for the child, obviously the child feels healed somewhere. That thing comes up. And so it goes with writing. So since then, I've been writing. I've been part of Ahmedabad Book Club for like 3 years now. I mean, I get to connect with such lovely people like you all. We all work behind the scenes, stay connected with words, and do do a lot of it. Like our good poetry competition that we just concluded with amazing
Yes.
inputs from little kids. They were wonderful. Actually, they amazed us. And
I
now
think we
I'm
should
working
have
on two novels.
yes.
So that's it till for me till here and long ahead.
I think we should have a story writing competition too with the children because I think they're all wonderful wordsmiths. Hey Kush,
Absolutely.
Kosha writes some very, very sensitive poetry. She expresses things. I mean, all authors and writers see things, and express what other people, normal people might not. But she touches upon topics which some people would hesitate. But absolutely love the your observation and the way you express it. How long have you been writing? Your daughter is a fine writer too, I think. Think me,
Uh,
I know she is.
Thank you. I've been writing. If you consider the school and college days, essays and card makings and everything, then since my childhood, because I was and I am an introvert, so um the only way, and a single child, so only way to transform my feelings was through paper, pen, paper. I never used to like to talk to anyone about my feelings. Agar if there is a situation, I would be thinking that this should not have happened and this should have happened. I would not talk to anyone, not even to my mother. I would just write it down. So I've been writing since then. Officially, my page or my pen name, that is Cosmos, I have been writing since around 3 years. And yeah, my job, earlier I used to work with corporates, Dani and Bakeri, where I used to work into corporate communications. So yeah, reading and writing has been part since childhood, and more it is like I feel I'm gaining something from the universe, which I need to transform it in one way or the other. And I hate cooking, I hate art, any form of drawing or anything. So writing is the way which I feel, yeah, that makes me happy. And yeah, introvertness, so I am still introvert, so yeah, I like writing. This is what I like. And my talk show, that I do it because I like to know new people in the same field, what they are doing, how they are doing their journey. So I put up my talk show on Insta Live, that is No and Tell with Koshmore. And with Ahmedabad Book Club, I am related since 2 years, and it's been wonderful journey as described by this both earlier, Monica and Vijaya. So yeah, it's been wonderful knowing you all,
And
creating.
when Kosh is not writing, she's fond of skating. Yeah, she's fond of skating.
I'm fond of skating, I have learned it, and still wish to continue after this lockdown period. I dance, even started learning dance since 2 years, which I never used to, being an introvert. But with my daughter, I started learning it.
I think that's one thing good about the Corona lockdown. Lot of our artistic talents, which maybe were buried inside, we didn't know. Because everybody's, even if you're writers, I'm sure you discovered new skills like Kusha started dancing. Because you're all busy in the job here, there's children, there's house to take care of. A lot of our talents get streamlined.
Hmm.
So that is one thing. Vijayalakshmi, tell me, I am very fascinated by this, love, spiritually, because that's my subject too. But horror, horror, what the paranormal, just horror, or you write on paranormal and psychic.
Yeah. So in all my books, I write about spirituality. Like I'll come to that next, like horror next. So
Yeah.
I have always explored about the nature of spirituality. Of
Mhm.
course, it remains a question to me forever. And like I'm always intrigued by the fact that are we in search of our true nature, and are we able to find? Is it the real question? Is it just the consciousness, or is there any biophenomena attached to it? And I feel that somewhere or the other, Almighty is always waiting for our love when all other forms of love are extinguished forever. So, our thirst for love or for the beyond, it quenches only after finding the love beyond love of the divine. So choosing a spiritual path and going deep within, that is looking deep within, is an option for everyone to attain, but only a few choose to. That is, you have the three aspects: the body, the mind, and the soul. The body, mind, and the soul, when it comes into unison, and when you see beyond Maya, or what you call illusion, there you would come to know the secret mantra, that is knowing is being. So the whole universe, the whole providence, our entire life, our past life, and the future life, so everything is based on it. That is know thyself. Or you can like name it Aham Brahmasmi. That is, we all are one. Like we have the concept in Indian tradition that the whole world is one big family.
One big
And
family.
you have, yeah, you have the interference of mind and matter, which attracts the singularity of the universe. And spirituality is, of course, a very complex journey. So I would just like to quote what I read from a Tamil book, which was based on Siddhargal, that is the seers or the visionaries. That is, our form exists from the senses, our sensory organs portrays the senses, and our sensory organs, it represents life, and life proves that there is existence, which in turn leads to the knowledge of the mind, intelligence. And when this state is attained, we have something known as nothingness or the no thinking state, which provides answer to all the problems of our life. So this is how I view spirituality. So coming to the next question, that is, I have tried to link this aspect, that is, after death, is there any interdimensional space or is there any parallel universe, and the presence of ghosts, the presence of supernatural elements. So I have just tried to link these aspects along with the aspects of time and space. So you have this concept of time, you have the concept of space. So somewhere or the other, I just think that these are just attributes to measure or to inculcate discipline. That is, you have the past, the present, and the future all woven together. And somewhere or the other, we think that no, this time is just for this existence. So in other universes, you have other time periods, other space, and everything. So I have also tried to link that with horror. And based on this concept, that is, in the beginning there is end, in the end there is beginning, and yet there is no beginning and there is no end. So life is just a cycle which goes on and on. And I would also like to show the cover page of Love Beyond Love. So if you could see, yeah, yeah. This is the cover
Very
page
nice.
of the Love Beyond.
Wow. Can you hear me? I
Yes,
think I
Meena, we
lost
can hear you.
the camera.
We
is some-
can't see you.
You
Yeah,
can
we
see
cannot
me?
see it.
Yeah, I think there's some technical hitch. It's okay as long as
You are
all
audible.
people can see you.
We can see you.
Yeah, okay. Fine. No, that's okay. But Vaishulakshmi, what made you write in horror?
Okay. Like at one point of time, like I was so like sort of confused. So that was the period of time when I completed my graduation and I was at crossroads, like what next? So there was a big confusion in my mind, like no, about the future choices and everything. And during that period of time, like I came across this title Black. So we have all these mudras and all these colors connected. You have green, you have orange, red, and everything. But nowhere there is this color black. So when you mention this color black, everyone thinks that it's sort of no. So it's a sort of color which is considered to be mysterious. And of course, black is also connected with space, with time, and everything. And black is also connected with the dark holes. And somewhere or the other, like there's a research going on to say that the universe itself was made out of these wormholes and dark holes. So I try to connect this aspect of black with the universe, and in that the aspects of fear. You have the aspects of fear, you have the aspects of longing, desire, all these negative qualities. So on one hand you have all the positive aspects, that is, you have happiness, joy, and on the other hand you have sadness and all those negative attributes. So this is just like the concept of yin and yang, wherein these two attributes, they should complement each other for us to exist. Yeah. And also like a sort of binary opposites. Yeah.
As Vivekananda said, darkness is nothing but the absence of light.
Yeah.
It is always there.
Yeah.
It's always there. We presume ki like, and I think it's the thoughts which are given by others. Darkness is negative. Darkness actually black, like white. White has all
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah.
Even the black, it absorbs all color.
Yeah, true.
It is.
I'd like to add, we can say that white is all reflective and black
Yes.
is all absorbing.
Yes.
True.
Right.
It's like, I mean, whatever is attributed to black, but I think black is one color which can absorb all and yet retain its identity. And white is so pure or so reflective that whatever it is, it just reflects back. So whatever anybody is seeking, because while I was doing my book Illuminating Darkness, that was somewhere, I mean, I can, relate, resonate with Vijaya, that, there's this unism. There is, I mean, from what the gist of whatever she said, okay, instead of sections, it present, past, future, or right or wrong, or day or light. If you see the whole thing as one unison, that's nothingness somewhere. Okay, if you lose that orientation of right and wrong and past and future, and it's somewhere I can relate to it, because even I feel that life is more about balance rather than past, present, or future. So that's where somewhere even I came across with, I mean, I came forward with this title, that why to see darkness as something bad, when you don't need to dispel it. You just need to acknowledge it, and eventually it will have its own glow. Like, if you dread something, fear something, it will become more fearsome. But if you see it from a very first fresh perspective, because we are conditioned since the time we are born, the conditioning starts not on a very conscious level कि
Yes.
ये चीज अच्छी है, वो चीज गलत है, ये अच्छा है, वो बुरा है, ये सही है, वो गलत है. So we grow up like that. But at some point of time, when you come across certain crime times or some events occur, that is the time, I guess, you develop, or you know learn and develop, or maybe grab a new perspective. That's the reason I chose this thing ki, why do you have to dispel the dark? Why do you have to burn it or light a candle? If you start seeing darkness for its own light, because darkness की भी खुद की एक पहचान है, उसकी एक identity है. It serves a purpose. It's just that we got to discover it. So once you discover
Actually,
it, you kind
we
of
can
don't fear it.
see in the darkness if we train our mind. It's the, I said, words and thoughts that are given to us from childhood. We are
Hmm.
preconditioned. This is
Hmm.
not right. This is
Hmm.
correct. ऐसा ही होगा, वैसा ही होगा, ये सही है. So that is what. If you get rid of all these, out of this self-created periphery, So, Kosha, you're quiet. Your views?
No, I was thinking about what Vijaya said, that she was confused and there was all fear and every negative feeling. So, somewhere while writing horror, it's like pushing up your limits. Somewhere, which Monica said, that darkness has its own glow. It's like when you push yourself to the limits, push your fears, push yourself to the fear, and then you start seeing the light of your own. So writing horror is like pushing your limits first of all, then is something else, pushing your fears, your limits first. It's very difficult genre to write within, but yeah,
Yeah,
once you see
I agree,
Difficult if
because that
you have
requires
not
a whole lot
experienced.
of imagination at work.
huh,
Have you experienced paranormal?
we couldn't
Yes.
get you.
Anyone?
No.
Uh,
No, she's asking, have we experienced any paranormal activities in our life?
Oh yes, I have. Before our marriage, I don't know to what extent it's true. Before our marriage, we were going to the DJ's office, and suddenly my scooter, two wheeler, got punctured. Okay, and we could see near my school, in my town, hometown, Jamnagar, we could see a puncher fellow. He just laughed, not laughed, he smiled very kinkingly, like ऐसे हाँ ऐसे. And then we were getting late, so we went by auto, and the DJ whom we went, he just mentioned that we need a mechanic to get the scooter repaired, and we'll be going by the vehicle. Then he showed us that his face had from ear till ear stitches with 3 4 artificial teeth and everything. And he said his car punctured at the same place. There was the same puncture fellow, and now when you go back there, that puncture fellow will not be there, puncture repairer will not be there. And the way he laughed, एंड तुम एक सेल्फ करोगे और तुम्हारा टू व्हीलर या कार जो भी होगा वो स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. एंड यू प्लीज डोंट ड्राइव बिकॉज आई ड्राइव आफ्टर दैट एंड आई मेट विथ एन एक्सीडेंट with a tree. Okay, so and it all came true. My father went there with a mechanic, or one self may start ho gaya. There was no puncture fellow there, and we don't know where he went in just few minutes. I don't know where he went. He just vanished. So इसे आप paranormal बोलो या मुझे नहीं पता इसे क्या. हाँ, but we didn't drive after that till our marriage. We did not drive. Neither me nor my husband drive any vehicle, two wheeler, four wheeler, nothing. We had someone always to drop us. So whatever you call it as, but we had this experience, both of us. Otherwise, we don't believe in such things generally. कि कभी देखा नहीं है तो yes, I had this experience.
What happens? We do have angels all around us. You have to feel and think, believe in the divine, in all your higher forces. I think Vijay Lakshmi has experienced that.
You have?
I guess
Vijaya?
some.
Yes.
I didn't get you. Yeah.
Anji?
Hanji, I didn't get you. Can you please repeat one more time? Yeah.
I said, Vijay Lakshmi, you have experienced the maybe connect with the higher forces.
Yeah, that is only through meditation. Like actually, to say, I started meditating only during lockdown. So lockdown has taught us so many important things in our life. So I like somewhere or the other, like I thought that I wanted to know myself. So I started meditating. So I just started with this, this chakra meditation, and then it gradually it increased, and like somewhere or the other, like I was fascinated with a seer or a visionary known as Babaji. So like I had some few tragic incidents like related to health in my family. So I just prayed to him, that is, and then everything got resolved. So it was only through meditation. So, and whenever I feel sad or whenever I have problems in my life, I always pray to him. So like within a day or two, everything gets solved. So we can call it as divine providence or nature or no, I don't know what it is, but there is this divine power, the higher power, which guides us, which protects us, and which leads us unto eternity. So this is what.
It's from the so-called darkness to light. It is there. We have to believe.
Yeah.
And like I think the first thing, belief is what actually drives us and begins everything. We have to surrender and believe, and then the whichever force, whichever power, it just takes it forward. I guess it's all about belief and loving yourself.
There's some sound echoing problem. Kajal, I hope, am I the only one who's hearing?
No, it's fine now. In between there was some sound,
Yeah,
but now
there
it's
was.
fine.
Yes. And I was asking Monica, what started you writing about religion and our ancient religions?
See what, Nina, if I share my life with you, I come from a religious, culturally rich background. I'm present in a culturally rich background where, we have so many festivals, and there are stories. Festivals are with stories. We all know. Even festivals come with stories. हर एक चीज के पीछे एक कहानी है. Dashera has its story. Diwali has its story. Holi has its story. So we have this treasure house of stories. So while I used to, we have heard them since childhood, we hear them. As a grown up, I heard them from a different angle. So, that is where the quest to bring it forth in a different light. If you see my mythos stories, I have recreated them with more relatability. The facts are same,
Hmm.
but how you see them, how you apply them, and how you absorb them. That's where the difference lies. Like, there are many aspects to it. And if you see that our mythology has been written by so many people, so the light is different, the take is different. Everybody sees the story and hears it from a different angle, and so they write it also. And that's the reason, I was so drawn to it. Like my mother, she was the one who's inculcated this habit of reading, not by telling us to read and got us a book, but just by doing. Ever since childhood, I have seen my mother reading a book wherever we were traveling. Whenever she went to drop us to us, I was in a boarding school. She always had a book in her purse. Her purse would have a book, whether she was reading Kalyan or Vishnu Puran or whichever, or Bhagavad Gita, but she always carried a book with her, which we were seeing. And later, as we grew up, I developed this habit to, always carry a book. And I guess anybody who reads is harboring a writer inside somewhere or the other. I mean, I wouldn't say I started writing while I was in school. Began writing only 5 years back. But I guess I was always somewhere talking inside, whatever was being read. And newspaper, of course, we read. So that it's like you connect with words, basically. It boils down to the fact that a person who's connecting with words, whether they are verbal or read or written, will
That
develop and come out with this. I'm sure, Nina, you are an avid reader. I mean, I've heard you have had a discussion with you over mythology and Shiva, to be very precise, because we all are.
yes, Shiv. I'm a very devout devotee of Shiva. I believe in the divine. I've been through a lot of they call paranormal experiences, but yes, I think it also started as a child because I think in school, that we had this library period, and I would love reading all the stories. अभी मालूम नहीं स्कूल में है कि नहीं, but I used to love reading. पढ़ने का शौक नहीं था, लेकिन पढ़ाई का नहीं था. So this is something I tell everybody. How do you inculcate the habit of reading in children? When the parents read, when the mothers read, the child will read. If you're sitting
Yes,
with
I
a
guess so.
mobile, the child will sit with a mobile. So that is how it is. And
I guess
writing
that's right.
also.
I
I
guess
never
I
used to write. I
Kosha
used to feel
has a
very
Kosha asked her how she's inculcating. We can see she has piled on a books for Maisha. What say, Kosha?
Yeah, she loves because I have a habit like your mother. I carry a book. I read
Hmm.
before bed. I read whenever there is a little time. So instead of watching TV, we do not have a channel subscription on the TV at home. So we read. So she has formed the same habit. She's formed the same habit. She loves books.
So I
Even
guess it's picked from the environment.
we used to like flip the pages and see the
Yeah.
pictures every time. She asked, whenever we used to say, "What gifts you want?" She always used to say, "Books, books, books, books." So,
I remember I used to love reading fairy tales. I used to read a lot of Amar
I
Chitra.
still read kids' books.
Amar,
I still go to. They are my.
मजा आता है वो पढ़ने में. You were
I
reading Shiv
guess
Puran also in between, right, Nina?
I write, but not lengthy stories. I cannot make up story.
Mm.
I write only what I can see, observe around, which touches me.
Mm.
So then I write. Of course,
During lockdown also you
again,
wrote many stories, many incidences.
many incidences. When I see which touches me, and I said, "Ki, are At this age, you feel, I've seen it all, done it all. I'm not easily surprised or shocked by anything. But फिर भी कुछ बातें होती कि नहीं, there is, you feel अभी भी there अच्छाई है, there is goodness and there is still meanness. You feel कि अरे यार, to what extent people go, it happens around us. It happens everything, good, bad, the ugly. We don't know the past, future, what is happening around us. We know that.
Yeah, true.
That is what we
So
can
it is-
see.
Yeah.
And that is what I say for writers. Monica and Vijaya, sometimes people say, अरे क्या लिखा है? All these, mythology. ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है. नहीं होता. आज नहीं होता है. If you're writing about story today, it's because that is happening around you. So what is ancient stories, they were written by 3,000, 5,000, but तब होता था. People lived like that. They thought like that. They dressed like that. They ate like that. That is how it was, Then, it's got discussion. And that is what got me to reading the Shiv Puran. I'm reading the Ramayana right now. Tulsidas, मुझे वाल्मीकि पढ़नी है. That is the original, which is quite different from the version. ठीक है, people have their version. ऐसा नहीं हुआ. अरे भैया, हुआ था. तब computers नहीं थे, mobile नहीं था. But people who communicate, we're talking about, West is coming and telling us about this mindfulness, vipassana, meditation. We have been doing it for thousands of years. The power
Yes,
of
right.
manifestation through meditation, the mysticism of Mahadev. That is what we had discussed with Chen on Mahashivratri.
Yes, we
And
had an
such a-
amazing session on that.
And
There is
somewhere
so
or the other,
much-
it is like, somewhere or the other, it is like we have lot of challenges surrounding us, and like, do we fail to realize the real truth? That's the whole essence of life, and like our mind is the judge, and our attitudes, they shape us actually. So if you think that I think and therefore I am, you exist, and if you think like I don't exist and I'm not happy, you are not. So it's just like a clock oscillating between the animate and the inanimate. And it also means that like giving up our hopes and wonders that providence provides us when we stand up for it. So life always gives us like two choices, like, it is like left up to us to decide. And even the mythology that that we have in India and other countries, and the rich oral tradition that we have. So it teaches us lot of lessons, lot of life values that we have to stick to when we face difficulties in our life. So all these aspects, it actually helps us in.
I would also like to draw, some attention to this, that, it's a saying, what exists in our realms of imagination may become a reality someday.
True.
It does.
And
What you think,
Yeah.
while
what you
you're
think will
writing,
manifest.
Yeah.
Listen,
And
while
there is
you're
feed your
writing,
body.
there is a lot of imagination. Today, I may write a character or develop or form a character who has this trait. So maybe, somebody that a human has a horn or something. You never know. You never know. Like if you take this example, that I was watching this movie during the lockdown, Contagion. If you must have seen it.
Did you get
Story
shocked?
I mean, that movie was released years back, and seeing that movie, we are living it today. Like if you take the example of Ramayana also, they're talking about Pushpak Viman, okay, which is aeroplane, which is years later. So अब वो था या नहीं था, don't get into the debate of whether
right.
it exists.
Right.
But it was, even if it was in the realms of imagination, it became a reality now. We are talking about, there's so much
The
of fiction, zombies and etc. You never know what's going to be tomorrow.
See, when Valmiki wrote, wrote about it, or Ved Vyas wrote in the Ramayana, they wrote about what was happening there. That time, I think the atmosphere was so clear. The trees and the fauna, there was, again, I'm disappearing.
In a way, Osho is also same. Years back, he wrote many things which were told as bad or wrong or whatever you say during those times, but which we adapted now, or which is happening, and which other things will happen in future. So he is also the most what do you say,
Vision.
not so liked person or underrated person. Whatever he wrote, his thoughts at those times,
Yeah.
I mean, before
Yeah,
No,
even
no,
you have
you're right.
mysticism. Yeah, even you have mysticism in the like in the poetry of Rumi, and the search for light or the search for divinity, and then you have the rich branch of knowledge that is Vedas and Upanishads, wherein it has 4 different concepts that is based on the notion of I. That is, you have that consciousness is Brahman, this self is Brahman, though art, that is you are one, and I am Brahman and I am divine. So you have these 4 different concepts which is put throughout, that is which is like no, elaborated throughout the Vedas and the Upanishads. So this is the central idea of what is the notion of I. And like I'm also reminded of the saying of Buddha, that is the jewel is hidden in your heart, that is the soul, the tiny dot in us which is trying to reach the divine. So birth after birth, like rebirth after rebirth, we are just this much, that is a small speck. So we are just trying to reach the divine, so the
The
transcendent.
soul, yes, the soul
Yeah,
knows. It doesn't feel like
yeah.
hot, cold, good, bad. It knows. It always knew.
And
It
like
knows
somewhere or
what's
the other,
happening.
like
It's the
when you see the philosophy of Buddhism, you have this Heart Sutra wherein it says that there are no attributes, there is no pain, there is no pleasure, like somewhat related to Nirvana Ashtakam. And there is that one point of life wherein there is nothing, that is, there is no birth, there is no death. So it's just we are here just to exist. We are here just to be the experiencer.
right.
Actually,
you're right,
Yeah.
because actually we unnecessarily complicate our religion. When I read the Quran, the Bhagavad, and I realized it's so simple to follow in every day. Both are Indian rituals, and mostly it comes from the West. It's not like that. Our religion it's not complicated at all. I think it's all in the mind. That's what our Hindu religion says. We manifest what we think. Feed your mind and soul with love, with good thoughts. Because the body doesn't know. आप गुस्से में रहोगे चिड़चिड़ तो वो गुस्सा ही पहचानेगी.
मुझे
So if
ऐसा
you're
लगता है
happy,
religion
yes.
किसी को सिखाना नहीं चाहिए. It only gets complicated when it is taught. I guess it's a
Right.
journey. Religion or spirituality, it should be explored with every stage and phase. Once it begins, once you go and start learning it from somebody, na, that's when it becomes complex and chaotic.
No.
When a
You
person, when you experience it and explore it, because I think it's very, very unique. It's how you take it. We are all unique. So our perspective and our take of spirituality will be very, very different. So I guess once
It is.
one does it on its own, I guess that's the real learning. I mean, you really truly get it when you do it and you explore it and you experience it with trial, tests, whatever. But once you start going to
All
learn it,
paths,
that's where it
all
gets.
paths lead to God, to the divine. You follow your path because you have to walk. Follow your path. You have to walk it. Nobody else is going to do it for you. That is the
That's true.
spirituality is about your journey. You connect with your
Yeah.
elements, all your elements around you, all
Yeah,
that
and
you
literature,
feel.
Yeah.
that's true. And literature serves as a lamppost, which will shed light. And literature, I guess books are doing that well. Stories, poetries, literature, it gives you enough light to, find your own path
Yes.
through it.
I think reading, it widens your horizon of your thought process. And words, it reminds me of a song by Bee Gees, Barry Gibb. Words, words are all I have to
Boyzone.
express, It's a wonderful song. Listen sometime. To express happiness, anger, sadness, whatever
Yeah.
you're feeling. Whatever you're feeling. It's the words. The pen is always mightier than the sword.
Yeah, true. So
Because
you have this whole concept of neither nor, that is, I am neither the body nor the mind. I am neither the senses nor the duality. I am neither the experienced nor the experience. I am neither the form nor the attributes. I am neither in bondage nor liberated. So finally, I am just the eternal bliss. That is what you called as Sachidananda.
Wow. That was very well said, which I must say.
wow,
Thank
wow,
you.
beautiful,
I just
beautiful.
translated, I just combined this Nirvana Ashtakam and Heart Sutra, and yeah, I just put this together. Thank you.
But the words that you use were perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Really,
I would love to hear a poem, one of your poems, Vijaya. Your
Yeah,
voice is
definitely.
echoing. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I think
Because
there's a sort of disturbance.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
having problems speaking, because I keep hearing my voice.
Yeah, yeah. Now it is clear. Yeah.
Okay. One
Yeah.
poem from you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would just like to read from my book. Just a second. Yeah. So this is regarding feminism. We played the Chinese whispers. We played the Chinese whispers one on one until the she was reincarnated as he. So, like most of the time, actually, like everything and almost important things, it begins with she. But when, as you see, say in Chinese whispers, like when we start from the first person and when it reaches the last person, it is entirely a different concept altogether. So here S gets cut and you have only he, that is he. So this is regarding feminism. And then this is also, there is one more, that is, when she was named Ganga, she thought herself to be a primary source of civilization. When she was named Gauri, she thought herself to be the mother of the universe. When she was named Lakshmi, she thought herself to be the most auspicious person of the world. When she was named Saraswati, she thought herself to be the dispenser of the highest form of knowledge. When she was named Vaishnavi, she thought herself as powerful as Trinity. The Gangas, the Gauris, the Lakshmis, the Saraswatis, and Vaishnavis were immersed in the golden rules of the hide and seek of society. So this is the other one.
that was a good
Thank
one.
you.
Wonderful.
Usha, I'm waiting. Usha's poetry are not just sensitive. She touches sensitive topics and
Kusha
very
writes some
gutsy,
really
gutsy.
courageous and sensitive these things.
I didn't get you. Sorry.
I said,
One
I said,
poem I would like you to read.
Yeah.
Am I
Okay.
clear? अभी भी थोड़ा echo है.
the voice cracks at times in
हाँ,
between.
voice-
Yeah, there is a disturbance. I don't know, from my side or from the other side.
Okay, so yeah, one article. Uh, it's not exactly a poem. It's a short article which I would like to read. People who are afraid of love are not afraid of sex. Love is dangerous. Sex is not dangerous. It can be manipulated. There are now many manuals on how to do it. You can manipulate it sex can become a technique, mechanical sex. Love can never become a technique. If in sex you try to remain in control, then even sex will not help to reach the ultimate. It will go to a certain point and you will drop back because somewhere it also needs to let go. That's why orgasm is becoming more and more difficult. Ejaculation is not orgasm. To give birth to children is not orgasmic. Orgasm is the involvement of the total body, mind, soul all together. You vibrate, your whole being vibrates from the toes to the head. You are no longer in your own control. Existence has taken possession of you and you don't know who are you. It is like a madness, it is like a sleep, it is like a meditation, it is like a death.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Very,
Thanks.
very, I mean, very creatively you put this forward, Kosha. Very well written.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very well written.
Thank you. Because
Monica, as
yeah,
I
Actually,
think we're coming to the end of our session.
that's what you want me to read, or you might as well just read it from my book someday.
Whatever.
Since we are running out of time,
read it.
you
We
want
have 5 minutes.
to read it?
Read it.
Okay, let me just pick something. Okay, I read this. It's a short poetry kind of a music. The title is The Core. A curious child gazed the rough exterior of a tree and wondered, is there all there is to it? Suddenly, as his fingers traced its hardened skin, a piece fell off, revealing a hidden layer beneath, supple and white. The boy asked, why do you deceive with your layers? The tree replied, dig deeper, you will know why. Curious, the boy scraped the white layer. Came forth another, this time pulpy and flesh. The child licked his fingertips and poked further, oozed out some sap, transparent and pure. The boy finally said, I still don't understand you. Everything around you, nature and people, everything is made up of many layers. So never judge a book by its cover. Reach for the core.
Superb.
Wow.
Wow.
Never judge anyone by the top layer, especially the book.
Yeah, amazing.
There's a
There
core
is
to
a
it.
very deep spiritual connect with trees.
Yes, we all sum up and come
Dimension.
up to that. We all are, questing and longing and exploring and moving towards finding that core in the soul and the quest.
But
Yeah.
I think I have so many things more to discuss. We are running out of time. I will end. Have you any of you gone through this? अच्छा लिखते तो हो writer हो, but काम क्या करते हो? I mean,
Everyone.
it's not considered a proper job as yet.
Yeah, sure. True.
Yeah.
See, when you
Thank you.
start
Yeah,
writing others,
yeah,
then it becomes a profession.
true.
But when you're writing for yourself, it still stays a hobby.
Hobby.
Yeah.
नहीं तो भी
Yeah,
बोलते
it's
हैं ना
like,
घर पे ठीक
yeah,
है
it's
लेकिन
like
काम क्या करते हो ना
Yeah.
so say you're a writer.
It's like, anybody can dance, so it's like anybody can write. काम क्या करते हो?
yeah, that was a good one.
Ask those people to write and they will know. They will know.
Yes, a lot goes into when you
So
when
it's
you
all
want to
about your
write and bring
passion.
it forth,
Yeah, it's
then
about
you
your
got to
passion. Yeah,
Find your ikigai and to do it with passion. I think everything else follows. Money, name,
absolutely.
fame, it follows. But as long as you're doing what you love with sincerity, with passion, with honesty in your soul, it works. They say the
Yeah.
universe conspires to
yeah,
help you, in your endeavors, whatever you're doing. That helps you to move forward. And,
That's true.
I think it's been great talking to you. I still have a lot of more to discuss, but I think we'll end this evening on wonderful poems that you all have said. Till we all meet again, I hope our viewers they've enjoyed. Just
Yes, it
apologies
was.
for the technical hit, sir. Because I get cut off. I keep hearing my voice and I don't know what to say.